time in Steve Bakes Cookies, last time we saw them put their entire composition around Matroko with the Zillion bottom and the Kale mid, basically giving him 3 lives.
Yeah, pretty durable Draven.
Oh yeah.
Worked out, didn't die. Well, we're going to see what happens, guys. We are on the 4.2 patch still for the rest of these quarterfinals. Going to see where we go with this one. Somniac here on the blue side, and I got to look at the bans here. And honestly, for Steve Bakes Cookies, all right, Pantheon dropped away from Carbonite. Let's see where he goes. It is the most played, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm getting a little hungry because we got lasagna over on Somniacs. We got Steve Bakes Cookies. And a Pantheon, of course, you have to ban that against the team that needs a baker.
Of course. That makes, oh my god.
Exactly right.
How didn't, that's why this whole team comes together there. Of course, I mean, Steve makes sense. It's the name of the top laner.
It was actually banned last time against them, too. So they don't want Carbonite to have that.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, Belgian Beast, his Gragas getting moved away as well. Just kind of standard bans coming across for now. I still want to know if Syndra shows up as banned against the Somniac. I still want to know where Draven goes. I feel like those are 2 very important champions to look for here. Yeah,
Draven might be a red side ban. So they're thinking right now, because if they ban out Kassadin, okay, they're going to leave that last ban to see what Somniac bans. Who's more afraid of the Draven right now? Because if Somniac doesn't ban it, Steve Bakes Cookies basically says, we either ban it or we give it to them.
Yeah.
Which is it going to be?
And I wonder if he's going to be able to play against it well. There are some decent lanes, specifically, I know Kassadin, or not Kassadin, sorry, Caitlyn's pretty good in that matchup. So the Zillion ban comes through, that's targeted away at Yarrow there at the support. The Kha'Zix ban, so Syndra available for Somniac. Now the thing is, Somniac doesn't have to rush this pick because it's not a contested champion, they have it in the back pocket, and generally speaking, when you've got a team who leaves up a most played, they expect it to come through. Yeah. Right? We just heard DeFisher talk about it, say, oh yeah, we know Moops is going to pick Gragas, we'll leave it up, pick a counter pick, know it's coming in there. In this kind of case, Somniac can wait on the Syndra, say, are you baiting it? And hopefully find out what the mid lane matchup is first. And it's going to be the hover over, the lock it on a Draven, Riddick's going to be grabbing that champion.
It's going to be ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely. And they actually accomplish a lot with that. They get it for themselves. Riddick's had an amazing showing on that previously, but Matroko, in the round of 20 and round of 10, he accumulated a score of 10, 0, and 8 on Draven.
Yeah.
Not dying a single time.
Scary champion.
So we're going to have to see what his fallback is. He does play aggressive laners like Lucian, but up against the Draven, it really relies on your support at that point. And I love that Somniac banned out the Zillion, because that's something you don't typically play against. We saw Jay replaying it earlier today, and we've seen him play it in the past. How do you deal with something like that? It's very difficult. And Carbonite's going to go with his typical Vi here. We saw him go 3-1 and 8 on it previously, really setting up the bot lane for success in Steve Bakes Cookies. And Steve going to go with Renekton. Once again, standard comp coming out here for Steve Bakes Cookies with good dive and good front line so far. So I want to see this round out. I don't know if they're going to go ahead and put a lot on their AD carry shoulders again, or if they're going to have their mid laner pick up a little bit of slack, because Lulu is not banned.
That's true. So now I look at the top lane here, and now Sleeping has been playing the more aggressive top laners, Renekton and Shyvana so far this tournament. I wouldn't go Mundo here, just because you've got Vi who loves to dive, Renekton who's going to be a big lane bully, Shyvana a bit safer. Her ulti probably gets you out of those situations better than Mundo's would, so I like BB's hover here. As far as Lasagna goes, I mean, he's played Mundo jungle, you could grab it, but it's not contested anymore. Like, there's no reason to take it early in the champ select. Yeah. But I feel like you want to see some early powerful junglers here. Something like, I mean, Pantheon's banned, Vi's been taken, but an Elise if it's available later on in the rotation to get the Draven going. So Lulu mid is going to actually work really well. You've got more protection for Draven. He's going to have a fun time.
And that might not be a Lulu mid, because Masterwork played Lulu both times previously in the round of 10 and round of 20, and BB has yet to touch it. So it could be a bait to have Steve Bakes Cookies show their mid laner, and then have Somniac counter and pick their own.
You gotta trust this is known information, and you're right. It's double Lulu so far for Masterwork. Lulu, Draven, the lane they played last game. It's a great choice. You haste up Draven, he kills people so fast, and he's protected.
Yeah, it's a big flex pick there. And giving Draven extra durability was what Steve Bakes Cookies was all about previously.
It's true.
And it's the same lane that Somniac won previously in the round of 10 with.
All right, so SBC, their choice is up here. Hover and Lucian.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. It's his second best. It's his fallback. Very aggressive laner, which fits Matroko's style. He goes to dominate the lane and then scale into the late game because he had crushed his enemy, and Carbonite can follow up very well. Draven is one of the less escape-heavy ADCs, Jinx is down there as well, but he doesn't really have a mobility besides his Blood Rush and resetting that. So Carbonite will have a lot of fun coming down there if a hook lands from Yero with that Thresh pickup. I like this composition. It's the wife steal lane. A lot of lore in that.
Yeah.
It's got to be difficult for Lucian. Grab your dead girlfriend to safety. No! Like flies all the way back.
Poor Lucian.
But I like this composition, very standard, very well-rounded, and they leave their mid laner and they don't fall for this. So they're going to let Insomniac show all of their cards before they get their mid laner and that final pick in their composition.
All right, well now it's, are you confident to blind pick Syndra with only 3 mid lane bans coming through? You know, Vi mid. The thing is, Syndra is a very unsafe laner. She's long range but has no escapes. So she's unsafe in the way that someone like Kayle or Orianna is unsafe. It's like, you're a good laner, but when a gank shows up, you burn your flash or you die. They're still hovering on the Syndra there. The Evelynn jungle I like, though, because it means they get to guarantee counter ganks. They guarantee no knowledge of counter ganks. If you show up mid and you dive Syndra, Evelynn could be there. And your wards, unless you get a lot of good pink ward coverage, aren't going to spot that out. So the Eve will actually cover these slightly weak lanes. You can suddenly make Draven, Lulu work and win the lane. You can suddenly make the Renekton Vi get, backfire when they dive Shyvana. You can make the gank towards mid backfire as well. So as long as Lasagna's paying very close attention, he can ruin Carbonite's day every single time.
Yeah, and the way to actually counterplay an Eve is not to pink ward, but to green ward her camps. So you can see where she is and her movement around the map and just track that in which direction she goes, because that's when she will be visible. But then if you're a very good Eve player, you just be like, I'm in these lanes all the time, ganking constantly.
Yeah.
And getting those wards is very risky. It's a high risk, but it's very high reward. And you kind of have to play that way. We saw Dexter in the NA/LCS playing against an Eve. All he did was counter jungle, just go straight for him every time so he could keep tabs on him while his lanes win.
Exactly.
So, not getting the assistance out there. And it looks like Belgian Beast is going to go with Ziggs here. A little bit more mobile than the Syndra. They're both very good wave clear champions, and they do have some roam potential in them.
True.
And this is 4.2, so Ziggs does have the reduced wave clear on his explosive minefield.
Yep.
And the Syndra pick here, a lot of burst, but very immobile. Carbonite, he can have his pick of the litter mid and bottom lane for ganks.
Yeah, so Insomniac, crazy high damage output. We'll see what Lasagna can do with the Evelynn here. Honestly, it's Insomniac hoping they can burst someone out and then survive the rest of the team fight off of Draven's persistent damage and Shyvana's persistent damage. Low defensiveness. The tank line is entirely Shyvana with like a low AP Lulu support. So if things go sour early game, nothing can easily initiate a fight for Insomniac. That's the scare here for the blue team.
Yeah, and you never know with Eves, though. We've seen crazy builds out of them. Is like Hex Drinker. Oh, here's a Warmog. Oh, here's a Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah.
Just anything goes on Eve. The build is kind of up in the air, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it shows some versatility.
I think it shows that people are still figuring out the best way of doing things.
Yeah.
I actually ran and did the math the other day because I was wondering why everyone was going Lizard instead of Spectral Wraith. All of her abilities will do more damage with Wraith than with Lizard. Across the board, every single one benefits more from Spectral Wraith. It's the attack speed buff from Ravage and the basic attack damage that they really care about for going Elder Lizard. It's the build I think we're likely to see here from Lasagna. We'll see how that pans out. But again, I want to see how these teams stack up as we go into the game.
And I want to talk about Steve Bake's Cookie's composition here. They have Dive with Wave Clear, because Lucian will end up being a little bit of a lane bully, but this bottom lane is where I want to put a lot of focus because these lanes are going to be clashing back and forth, very aggressive. The supports are both, well, one of them's an initiator, that's going to be Yero, and the other one is a defensive poker with some Wave Clear built in, which is the Lulu on Masterword. And keeping the Draven alive, they're going to put a lot on his shoulders in that lane. But Steve Bake's Cookie's composition, you can poke and then initiate. Get people down and then dive them, or have the threat of a dive so they give up an objective. Dragon Control is actually up in the air on this one between these two teams. They both do a very good job of zoning and very good job of team fighting. It's these jungle ganks that are going to decide which mid laner is going to come out on top and which bottom.
Well, let's watch out for Lasagna and Carbonite then. Got that awesome Neon Strike Vi going in. Can't hate on that at all.
One of them
good skin.
One of them's very hot and the other one's very cold.
Okay.
Let it click.
Nope, I got it.
Get frozen in Carbonite. Get yourself some lasagna.
See, I was going the other way with it because Neon Strike Vi is like so bright and flashy, and Evelynn just like is really cold and seductive.
Oh, you're going the other way with it.
Yeah.
I was going with the... Okay.
I was going with the champions, not the player names. And you went the other way with it. So they mesh and become lukewarm here. Insomniac, Trinket Ward, getting ready for himself. Goes for the taunts, why the heck not? Spinning things around. Bet you he's really good at juggling. I feel like BB could do that quite nicely. Carbonite does start with the E, by the way. I don't see that build as much with Vi. Normally you see him start denting blows, but nope. Excessive Force here. Puts him through. Lasagna grabbing his blue buff here on Evelyn. So both junglers starting on the top side of the map. They'll be near that duo lane and near the mid lane, to be fair, when they hit level 3.
Yeah, and like you talked about, the excessive force start. The denting blows doesn't give you the shield from her passive, so she takes a little bit less damage, but she won't clear it as quickly, so it's kind of like, doesn't matter which one you start with.
Yeah. I don't think it'll burn her in the end. I mean, both are completely viable, to be totally fair about this one. BB gonna start off against Belgian Beast. I want to see who outpushes this lane, because both have low cooldown AoE Qs that can clear the waves rather quickly. You can see 8 to 7 so far in minions. He's under grabbing his red buff, but yeah, that mid lane, you called attention to it, and I think it is really important where that one goes. BB's most played far and away is Syndra. Steve Cookies knew that coming in and said, you know what, we'd rather ban Jax, we'd rather ban all these other things, and let that go through. And we'll see if they actually have a counter for this Syndra.
Yeah, and I feel like blue buff control is going to be very crucial this game. Syndra, very blue reliant. You can throw down orbs, just lay them off in the back and prep your ultimate so you have more to throw and just constantly spam that ability even if you're not clearing the wave with it. Whereas Ziggs, same thing. Just keep clearing it. So if one jungler gets an edge over the other and starts wrestling that blue control out of the hands of the enemy team, then it's going to affect the mid laners a lot.
Big push lead. Pretty easily if you can get the blue control here. Other thing I thought about actually randomly, most Vi's we see go Elder Lizard, which means her tank stats will be far delayed and it'll be even easier to kill for BB. Like Vi could just blow up every team fight if BB wanted. Early game at least.
I could see that.
If he gets ahead.
Yeah, it really depends. Making a move up top here from Lasagna, which is the lane that I didn't think there was going to be a lot of action in. But you know what? It's an Eve. He can go wherever.
He's pushing in. Morsu shows his gank is coming in. The dash, he does get the double. Flash in from Lasagna, flash from Steve, 200 health. Gonna trade summoners.
That's a flash from the jungler for flash for the top laner. And when you bully a Renekton up top, when he's supposed to be the lane bully, you kind of make it even. And he's sticking around. Lasagna's off on the side. Steve back to half HP, but a lot of poke mid too.
Alright, gonna be the slow coming down from BB. Oh, the flash in from Belgian Beast flashes the Q, but the auto attack's coming through is gonna be a very close fight. 50 health left. The Q is gonna go in. The attacks, all it takes. Belgian Beast winning the duel 1v1. Steve does not have flash. Can these guys make it happen? There's Carbonite shows up though. Gonna get the kill. The Lasagna refreshing the W, but doesn't matter. It's still gonna try to fight this battle. Carbonite just trading kills back and forth. Lasagna doesn't want to stay in the battle.
So BB actually flashes just to the left. Very tiny flash. And that's actually going to tilt the mid lane without the assistance of the jungler in the favor of Belgian Beast and Steve Bakes Cookies.
Yeah.
And that is not something you want as a Syndra at all. You are going to get behind. Your burst is not going to be as huge. And if we look at the items here, he's forced back by his boots and the Dorans. Does not get the Chalice like Belgian Beast does, who is up in CS and a kill.
Exactly. So that mid-game lead is going to be interesting to watch there. At what point can BB get himself up to the Athenes, get him up to the rush on the Deathfire Grasp? Actually, I do want to see what build he ends up going for there. It's kind of like with LeBlanc. So you can see them go for the all-in burst build, but we saw them go more towards the safer wave clear status. I want to see if he'll rush something like Deathfire Grasp in this one. Try to one-shot people, get himself back into the game with just kills rather abruptly.
Yeah.
See where he goes with it.
And so the Chalice of Harmony is really big in this lane. I talked about blue buffs being important. The Chalice basically going to do the same thing if you get it to the Athenes. It's going to delay BB getting his, but he could be going for something like a Deathfire Grasp on the Syndra and just going for that burst.
We'll see.
And the roam here from these junglers, Carbonite still has his flash up, level 5. He'll be 6 shortly. And now looking down bottom here.
Well, he's looking around. Not level 6. No wards are going to spot him coming in here. The lane just did reset. Matroko low on mana. All summoners are up. Here comes Lasagna in from the side. Puts in the attacks. Gets slowed down a little bit by the Flay. The flash comes in from Lucian. Now Yarrow push back. Gets the hook onto Lasagna. Does not have Flay anymore. Can't pull him into turret range. That doesn't matter too much though. Gank doesn't mean much. Does give him a little bit of lane control though and burns a flash.
And that's going to show where Lasagna is. So Carbonite is off on the right side, just going back and forth in this jungle, deciding whether he wants to come bottom. Lasagna's staying there too.
Oh man, let's see for this one. He's still looking for the gank and back towards the turret. Belgium shoves in against BB. Pretty easy one right there. A couple of minions go down. All right, trading those back and forth. Pink ward is in route here for Lasagna. He's going to walk by one, get spotted there. Let's see if he can clear it away or if he gets chunked out by the Ziggs. Looks like it is going to be a pink ward cleared, so that's a ward dropping down. About 7 minutes in. Didn't last too long. Carbonite in from the back to level 5. Lands the CC onto Masterwork. He's trying to run away onto Lulu. Has no mana after the Whimsy. Does get himself away. Now Carbonite low on health. You're seeing him take a fair bit of damage. Lasagna shows back up. These junglers have been spending a long time ganking. None of them have really worked that well outside the top lane one. See if they can farm again 7 minutes in, trying to get towards level 6.
And Lasagna chasing down Carbonite in his own jungle. Belgian Beast is there for the reinforcement, but BB's coming too.
Oh, he lands the CC on the Belgian Beast. There come the Wolves. A smite comes in from Carbonite. Lasagna doesn't get a very useful one. He gets the Lesser Wolf. No one really cares about that one too much. But keep in mind, in about 30 seconds, blue buff respawns, and Insomniac just got control over that area.
And Carbonite's going to go ahead and clear out his red and then make his way over there, but it's going to put a little bit of a delay on the jungle of Lasagna. He's just going to go clear Wraiths. He has to go hand that blue over to BB. And like you said, the blue buff being up for Steve Baked Cookies in just a second. Don't know if it's going to be contested this time around, because jungler's on the opposite side.
And look at this move. Yarrow just put a pink ward down in that little brush that these guys just pinged in front of the golem. So they will know if BB is coming to force a battle for that buff. Really nice coordination there. They know, hey, 7 minutes in, they might invade the buff. Support, recall in time, get a ward for it. I love that.
Yeah, the ward placement here from Steve Baker's Cookies all around has been really good. We saw Belgian Beast place his ward off on the right side by the Wraiths previously. Now it's over on the left. And I want to talk about this bottom lane. Ridix is just chunking people down because he has the BF sword, and they force Petroko back when he can only afford a Vamp Scepter in this lane. And he's going for that extra durability and the sustain so he can stay in the lane and just... He knows the power of Draven. If anybody does, it's Petroko, because he carries on it typically.
And Ridix, by the way, into the 160s right now for League of Draven stacks, or Adoration as they're called officially. The stacks themselves. The pass is still League of Draven. So he'll be sitting on about 370 gold. 370 bonus gold if he gets a champion kill here. See if he can make that happen anytime in the near future. Does have the item lead, as you pointed out. Something to keep in mind. Can they push Matroko back? Can they push Yarrow back? 6 and 6 for 6 and 5. Carbonite camping the top lane, though. He's not... Oh my gosh, this lane is so rough. 47 to 81, I just realized.
Yeah. Even though there was that gank on Steve previously. And are they going to dive this? The Salt and Battery is ready.
Empowered stun. A lot of things coming across. Dragonform back under the turret. Ignite is on there as well. Does he get the damage onto Steve? Not enough. Maybe the kill picked up there. Well played, Steve and Carbonite.
Doesn't even need to use the Assault and Battery, so he'll have that for another gank that he pulls off. And that's going to prime Insomniac to go get that dragon, but they'll trade a top turret for it.
Well, it's going to be an interesting trade right here. Ziggs Bomb comes across, and Matrogo trying to contest one a little bit. Ridix around on the side. There's going to be the gank coming in for Masterwork, trying to get away from this. Pops the ulti to himself, trying to keep himself alive. They get off the dragon. They go in for Yarrow. Lasagna going into the front line. Can they get the damage across? The ulti, and Ridix cashes in. 434 for that kill. Now chasing onto Matrogo. Does not have much mana left. No haste coming in from Masterwork just yet. When it comes up, he can try. There's the shield, and he's not going to need the whims. He just gets the kill right there. 56 bonus gold. 2 big kills for Ridix, worth a turret.
And Dragon was not done. It was just a bait into a 3v4. And Insomniac comes out on top, even up the kills. I'm sorry, the Steve Bakes Cookies. No, Insomniac comes out on top. They're down in gold still, though. And Carbonite taking some harass here. The ulti's up.
Ooh, pretty good amount of pain. Not quite enough damage, though. 30 AP would have been all the damage he needed. So, hey, you talked about how hard that early game matchup was when you got a Chalice and you had to go back for a Doran's Ring. There's a difference right there.
Yep. Went ahead and got himself a Chalice now. But like you said with the squishy Carbonite buy, since he doesn't have the Ancient Golem, he's very vulnerable.
Yes.
And Ridix, he's going to go cash in on all of that gold he has in his inventory. I would assume
he's got PT.
Bloodthirster straight out, yeah.
Now I do want to see, though, what build he goes for afterwards. We've seen, like, Trinity Force right after, we've seen Static Shiv right after, we've seen Eye-Edge right after, we've seen Last Whisper right after, we've seen Yomu's right after. There's a lot of ways he can go. I just want to see which one he goes for. Yomu's like the big snowbally one that says I'm going to chase you guys all down.
And it looks like Steve Baked Cookies is going for this. They already called Steve down, and he's a big Renekton. He has his Tiamat finished. In this team fight, Lasagna
in the front line, a little bit too aggressive, goes down way too quickly. That was probably not what he needed. Gets cooked.
There's a smite.
Yep.
Smite down, just go ahead and get it. And Steve was already making his way. And like we saw with this CS lead earlier, about twice the amount of Morsu.
That is a rough top lane matchup. You know, and you did point it out, right? You're like, you know, I didn't really expect top lane to be a very important matchup here, one that would kind of sit alone, but it's actually really big. Steve, the man the team is named after.
Yeah.
Not only his cooking skills, but his name itself. He's branded it with himself, and he is winning his lane so hard. 40 minions here. Bottom lane fight. Ooh, good dodge on the hook. That was smart by Riddick to not go for that.
Some master footwork.
Yes, it was.
And if we look at the inventories here of the bottom laners, Riddick's full Bloodthirster. Matroko, Pickaxe, Vamp Scepter. No BF Sword in his inventory. He's down a lot of damage, just straight AD. Huge disadvantage here for Steve Baked Cookie's bottom lane.
That's true. So these are very lopsided lanes right here. The mid lane as well, one we got to point out multiple times now at this point, that Belgian Beast is beating BB on BB's most played champion of Syndra. So that did work out, I got to say, in the end. Well done SBC to make that matchup happen. Of course, Steve's still winning. But the first pick Draven from Insomniac, yep, wise choice.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely paying off for them, but they need to get him to carry. He's at 2 kills, but the golden objectives are in the favor of Steve Baked Cookies right now. They got the dragon, they got the only turret of the game, and now that blue buff is easily contested by Steve.
Morsu's still away, the white at least. But 13 minutes in, the blue buff will be respawning fairly soon. You're already seeing SBC come down for this one. Carbonite near the wall, Belgian Beast in this brush as well. They put the trinket down and say, when it's up, we'll be there. And there it is.
Like now. Blue buff, highly contested in this game. If you take it away from a Syndra, you basically put her on crutches.
Smite comes down, Carbonite picks it up. Lasagna can't even show up for it in time. There we go, the blue buff steal comes through. The other blue buff is alive, but Lasagna's on the wrong side of the map to contest for it.
And this is the type of advantage that you need to create once your top laner pushes, especially as Renekton. You cannot sit around as a Renekton because you will get outscaled by somebody like Shyvana or Mundo.
Yeah.
You need to create pressure in the jungle, have free reign of it, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just contest every buff and actually take wolves and continue to push and cause this pressure.
Yeah.
Because if they can keep tabs on Lasagna, when you know where a jungler is, you know where they're not going to be, so you can push other lanes.
Well, Lasagna just got spotted by the pink ward that he didn't clear out. I'm not even sure he saw it.
So you know where he is?
Yep, exactly. Carbonite off of one side, Belgian Beast around, goes for the blue. They didn't seek him out just yet. Lasagna knowingly backs off, says, you know what, I'm not going to outsmite and get away with this one. And Carbonite, yep, Belgian Beast checked. He ran down to look for an Evelynn. Forced him back, threw the spells down. I like that move.
Yep.
That was
not
nice.
taking any chances.
Nope.
Very methodical here from Steve Baked Cookies. Just checking it, and the blue buffs are
following the cookbook.
And I guess blue buff is a key ingredient.
Yes, it is.
You got to get it on your mid laner and deny it from the enemy. And look at the Renekton making some moves in the mid lane.
Gonna be okay. They're gonna wait around. Renekton doesn't find the dive. He'll go back to his own lane. Maybe he can get some wraiths. Yeah. All right, getting the farm for now. Now, to be fair, we tracked this minion lead a little bit. It was 40. It's down below that slightly, so that hasn't gone anywhere. Now, he has made plays for blue buff. He's, of course, taking that turret down a while ago, so there's things happening for Steve. But I do want to keep that Renekton tracker going, right? He has to make moves off this lead that he's almost entitled by being Renekton. What else can you do here? Morsu pushed the lane up. He's going to recall. Probably enough for Sunfire at this point. And then we'll see what Steve can do with his Renekton.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see how much jungle control he can wrestle. And down in the bottom lane, though, finally a BF sword in the hands of Matroko. Looks like he's going for eye edge first on Lucian, which isn't a typical first item. We'll typically see Bloodthirster or Trinity Force. He's going for that heavy damage crit item. You can crit your Light Slinger passive. Crits at a lower multiplier.
Yeah, half damage, standard.
Still really good, but here comes Steve making a move on BB here.
This is nice. This is exactly what we were looking for here. The damage goes in on the Belgian Beast, who has an Athenes, though. Mines come out, only lands the Q. One more Q might be enough for the ulti. W, Ignite, not going to land the ulti. Flashed away. BB trying to run. Nice bomb, though. Steve picks it up with Dominance and Ignite. Well played. Roam there by SBC. Yarrow has to flash it. Makes it happen. Ignite gets it. Masterwork taking him down, but here comes Carbonite around the back. Lasagna for the counter gank. No, not what Carbonite wanted. Can he get away? Look at the damage coming through. Lasagna stole the kill. Now, why would you do that? But Matroko's not in a good spot. Can they get this one onto Draven, though? One more attack to come through. Picks it up. Riddick's 348 for that one. Cashing in his passive, not dying. 3-0 and 2.
And here comes Belgian Beast on the side. He sees Lasagna. He's going to throw him up.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Trying to prove the superior food right there, but Belgian Beast doesn't make that one happen. The 2-1 and 2 Evelyn having a pretty good game in this one. 6-5 in kills. Alsamniak not really staying for the turret. Maybe, I guess, yeah, okay, they're pushing him back. They'll get this turret, I think. Maybe.
Well, Riddick's
They're gonna make
left
me
by
liars.
himself.
Lifesteal off the
You're
minions.
a liar, freak.
He's like ignoring the turret damage and lifestealing with the blood.
Everything you've ever told me. I don't know what to believe anymore.
You're not really casting League of Legends.
What am I casting?
Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
I'm actually really good at that game.
That's good to know. I've
All right,
never played it.
So we see Hello Kitty clearing out the mid lane here. Going for that adorable little turret. Here comes Carbonite from the side. Oh.
Aww.
No punches in
does
this
not
island.
Does not say hello, says goodbye Kitty instead.
All right.
Carbonite going for the raise. He's going to be all right. Gets himself the cash dollars. Goes for Brutalizer. Wow, so an aggressive build from Carbonite. Most Vi's will go Lizard into Tank. Goes Lizard Brutalizer into Merc Treads. He's really trying to burst people out.
Dragon is once again live.
Oh,
Oh, Lasagna popped towards him.
down to half. That's rough. BB put some damage on the Belgian Beast. He's got to watch out there. Here comes Carbonite, the offensive build. Ulti's going to come through as well. Look at the damage. BB explodes,
Whoa.
and so does Lasagna. Carbonite, I trust the build. I just wanted to point out that it was risky.
They're going after Masterwork now. They want more blood, trying to close that distance.
It's going to be all right. Flash the way. The Whimsy helping as well. Stand aside, help them get out of that one. And now the Dragon, yeah, easily controlled here by SBC. They even pulled Steve down for this one. In the Morsu room didn't mean much. There's a Smite. Dragon picked up there. Game is back and forth.
Both dragons that SBC have picked up, Lasagna was taken off the field before SBC even made a move for it. So it's a very safe dragon for them. And Belgian Beast's damage, 203 in this game, along with the assistance of Carbonite, 203 as well, going full damage for that early game dominance. Not even building tank. He said he was going to be squishy, but he doesn't even let abilities get off.
Yeah.
BB
Kills them before they can shoot back.
No R coming out.
Exactly. It's a big point to realize. And 2 pink wards down on that right side river. Neither have been swept out. The first one's been around for a while. Went down about 7 minutes in. It's lasted 12 minutes, that one pink ward. The other one went down recently. BB getting his own blue buff. I believe the first of the game for him.
Yes. It has been up 3 times, once to Eve, once to Carbonite, and now to BB. So they didn't actually contest it that time because the Dragon fight and Steve not being there. But now he has a 50 CS lead. It was 60 just a moment ago, but now we have Morsu up there farming, pushing it to the turret.
And I gotta say, Steve has made moves though. Roaming down for Dragons, roaming for blue buff steals, cashing in on the Renekton. Something we talked about last game, or yesterday's game, C9E versus Departed, where Cloud9 Eclipse camped for their Renekton, got him ahead, and then couldn't find anything to do. Steve doing a very good job here of finding things to do off this one. Belgian Beast gonna grab his blue buff on the back of this.
I think Ro8 just threw a lantern into the bush back there
Yeah.
to feign that Carbonite was there.
Yep.
That was brilliant.
And it baited a ward out too.
It did.
I mean, it's a Sightstone ward, but still, it made him ward and say, you know what? And then it's gonna get swept if he gets
He
control.
can't get that.
No. Lantern down again. Wasn't sure no sneaking around. Carbonite looks for the dive in Morsu, not gonna find it.
Does show himself though, so they know his position.
That might allow a dive. Nice, nice. Belgian Beast still keeping his turret alive. Both these mid laners holding on to blue buffs, and I want to point out there is a death cap lead for Belgian Beast. It's Athene's death cap versus Athene's with a Doran's ring and an Amp Tome.
Yeah, and then that's kind
Wow.
of mirrored in the bottom lane though, but reversed. So Riddick's has an entire BF sword up, boots, parts of Zeal to a pickaxe.
Man. Yep. See, I was actually wondering where that would go. I've seen a lot of AD carries be like, man, I'm really far behind and get the pickaxe for the stats. And just at some point they'll finish Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
So that'll eventually turn to last best for it. I mean, there's 2 pickaxes in every AD carry's core build. So it's not going to go to waste, it's just kind of like a loan, where it's not turning into any recipes for a short time. I'm sure we'll continue to scale up from there. But yeah, I do got to point out how strong Riddick's is right now. 3-0 and 2. You said it was kind of on his shoulders right now. I agree with you. 3,000 gold puts Alsamniak behind, and Draven's got to do some really serious damage to make this game work.
He's doing serious damage. Another BF sword before he even completes Zeal. He's totally okay with that, and the multiplier onto his spinning axes is great. And you can see he just bullies people out of lane very easily, gets those stacks up. When he cashes in on them, just gets a huge lead.
Yeah,